Hi, everyone, and welcome to It's Your Time. I'm Donna,
And I am Vicki.
and we have Jolene with us today, Jolene Schnee. And I met Jolene online in the beginning of my awakening, I guess. And she did a reading for me, and I felt like I forget what I said, something like that. She has the universe on speed
On
dial.
speed
That was
dial.
what it was, yeah, because
Wow.
it was a fast reading. She just came in, she said this and this and this and this, and then she was on to the next person. It was like, wow, that was great. So then we did a reading together, and we've done we did something else together. I don't remember, but she's always there. We always are connected, yeah, on and off. So yeah. So do you want to let everybody know what it is that you do?
Yeah, sure. So first of all, thanks for having me. It's a blessing.
Sure.
And I
Oh.
just want to add, because the other one is the name on Facebook, but my name is Jolene Schneeweiss. It's like Snow White in German. So
Oh,
you can't know
nice.
it if you don't like go down my Facebook page. But
Oh,
yeah. My name is
no,
Jolene
why? Oh.
Snow White, yeah. Jolene Schneeweiss, and I live in Austria. I'm an author, I'm a medium and spiritual coach. And I have written 4 books or published 4 books so far. I do, as you said, I do readings for animals and people. So you could say, psychic medium. I'm clairvoyant, clairsentient, and claircognizant, and a little bit clairaudient. But the other 3 are more of my prominent clairs, you could say. And yeah, also, as you were mentioning before, maybe it was before we started, but I also do poems, and I also channel like mirror poems where I kind of get the essence of people's higher self in a poem. So they have like a piece of art that reflects their higher self.
Wow.
And yeah, so I'm
Beautiful.
on my spiritual journey just like you. And I
Nice.
guess as you have experienced yourself, it just unfolds and unfolds and unfolds, and there are always new layers. So it always keeps it exciting.
So can I ask, like, what age were you when you started knowing that you have these gifts?
Hmm. So I would say I was always a very sensitive child and a very intuitive child. And after my awakening, I recalled and remembered that also as a child, I already had, like I've seen things that weren't there. I knew things that others couldn't explain how I knew that. But because of a very like troubled and traumatic past and childhood, I didn't remember that, or I didn't have any real conscience or like memory or recollection of my childhood and my experience. So after my spiritual awakening when I was 21, you could say those gifts and this knowing and remembrance just reawakened. And then suddenly I realized, wait, I can talk with my cats. And wait, there are those telepathic moments that just keep increasing. And then I did, what do you call it in English? Training to become an animal communicator. And then I realized, well, wait a second. If I can do that with animals, like if I can talk with animals, I mean, how different could humans be, right? Maybe I can, maybe, maybe I can also read humans, and so it just was very curiosity led to explore what else is possible, and then through the journey of self-discovery, you kind of come across words like empath or highly sensitive or highly intuitive and psychic and maybe neurodivergency as well. And this path kind of led me to then discover, well, wait a second. I've always been able to feel other people. I've always been able to read the room or to see the intentions of others, but I wasn't conscious of it. I always thought that was me experiencing it. So to answer your question, I think it always kind of was there, but it was the process of uncovering and rediscovering it that the
Wow.
spiritual journey brought with it.
And your family understood, or was there some point where you had to come out and say, I have these gifts?
Or do they
Um,
even know yet?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm sure they do. She's all the internet. So.
Good questions, but no, in my case, this spiritual awakening, you know, I'm sure you can relate. It brings up all the stuff you couldn't see before, and suddenly you cannot deny those truths that have always been there, but they were hidden to your conscious mind. And so for me, it actually was like that I've been brought up in very toxic, very abusive dynamics in my family. And after my awakening, I was gifted new eyes to see, and then suddenly I could see what I wasn't able to see before. And in my case, there was no, at least so far, no possibility for reconciliation. So I had to, like go no contact and cut the ties for my healing, for my inner child, to be able to really, go out and live the life that's authentic for me, and that's like that is me, because I have not been seen in my childhood or in my family of origin. So there was not the possibility or freedom to be who I am. And I don't think it would, like, it doesn't have to be about those abilities, but just to see and honor who I am, which is very sensitive, which is very wise beyond my years, probably because just of this extra sensory perception to those unseen truths. And so in my case, I actually don't really know how it would be perceived, but it's also with clear intention to protect myself.
You have grown past needing others' validation. So that's
Exactly.
it.
Yeah.
It seems like a lot of people who have gone through a lot of trauma in their younger lives actually
Exactly.
do become spiritual and gifted and more
Yes.
intuitive and insightful as they get older.
Yes, and often, you hear people say like, "I'm the generational curse breaker of my family," or "I'm the
Mhm.
one who's here to make a difference, to really start with myself, honoring myself, loving myself, connecting with God, and just giving, as you said, giving it to myself to dissolve those toxic patterns that were ruining so many generations before because they were kind of stuck in those karmic,
Mhm.
dense patterns." And yeah, so I totally agree. A lot of people who, or I guess I haven't met one single person who had their spiritual awakening who hasn't gone through so much shit. And
Right,
yeah.
right. Yeah, that's right. And some of it, like I've always said, my childhood was great. Well, I mean, there were generational things
Hmm.
that were passed down. And
Hmm.
I mean, I guess I'm the one who's breaking all that for my whole family. Even my cousins are saying, like, this is great because I guess they don't, some of them don't realize, and the ones who do had to break away, like you said. So I was blessed with not ever having to do that.
Hmm.
What for me, so it's always I guess I don't know. I guess my question would be like, how old were you when that happened, and how did you break away? Did you move to another city? Did you did you just disappear? I mean, from their lives, or did you tell them I can't do this anymore? Whatever it was.
I guess I would have to summarize a little bit. My family, as it is very small. So I'm an only child,
Yeah.
uh, and I grew up with my parents are divorced, and there are no cousins. There's one, what's the word? The in English, like uncle, but I didn't have like it was a very small family to begin with, and um, let me just collect myself to see how I want to summarize it.
Mhm.
Um, I guess there was a period in my life because the kind of trauma added up at a very young age. So at 11 years old, I was already thinking so much about death. And looking back now, I can see how at 11 years old, there was already the the seeds of my spiritual awakening brewing. Like, it's not normal for an 11-year-old child to cry every night because you're like, what's after death? Like, what happens after death? I need to know. Like, those existential questions and just themes where they were with me from a very young age. And I would say lots of suffering led to lots of seeking. So my early childhood and then my teens, especially in young adolescence, I was always seeking. I didn't know what it was, but there was this heavy,
Right.
intense seeking, like seeking in other people, seeking in, like very destructive things like alcohol and sex and partying, and seeking in validation in a job. And I felt this huge void, and I was seeking and I didn't know what I was seeking. And there were no words to explain it. But as I was like around 16 or something, when I already, like, I would say my dark night of the soul started at 13, like really
Wow.
intensely.
Yeah.
Yes. um,
You were just a child.
Yes.
You weren't.
yes, yes. But
Yeah.
it really started to build, I would say, this pain and this pressure that also, or ultimately, led to my spiritual awakening. So in
Right.
hindsight, it's a blessing. But
Right.
it was intense, and there was a lot of pain that kind of like was driving me, I would say. And I
Mhm.
didn't know why and what. And I just remember when I was about 16 years old, I came across a book from Osho. And when I was 16, I just remember thinking like, wow, this is the first time someone comes close to explaining how I experience the world. And so this was the first kind of like, spirituality. But then I didn't go on and follow his teachings or anything. It was just like, this piece of information fell into my lap. And this is so, like, what he describes is so normal for me. So I kind of grasped that. But then fast forward, there were a few more years of, I would say, chaos and destruction and seeking. And as I was 21, I experienced my Kundalini awakening and spiritual awakening, or slash spiritual awakening. And it was just this huge shift in consciousness, like completely unearthing everything I experienced before. And suddenly there was this new awareness. And with that new awareness, as I was kind of saying before, I started to see, I mean, I can say it here, where I first thought, where I always said my mom is my best friend, and oh, she and I against the world, and everyone was jealous about my cool mom. And suddenly I could see all the ways she was abusing me. And I came across, the terms narcissistic abuse and, drug abuse and alcohol abuse. And so suddenly there was so much I saw. And then in this process of getting to know myself, going on my own healing journey, of course, there was still the part of me that tried to, like, hey, now I see you even more clearly, and let's bridge and find a way to move forward together in love, because ultimately, I mean, what else should we do, right? That's our life
Right.
here.
Yeah, you don't have a whole lot of choice.
Yeah.
Or at least someone who is semi-conscious feels that way. But then I was, like, kind of hitting a wall over and over again, because even though people always say, it always takes two people, yeah, but there are people who are severely sick in their personality, and if they don't do the work, there's no, like, there's only so much you can do.
Right.
And
That's right. That's right.
so
Yeah.
in that way, it was just like a constant. I had to learn to choose me. I had to learn to choose
Right.
me, to be my own mom, to love my own self, and to, even if I didn't know what else was waiting for me, or if I only had seen glimpses, to let go of the old, even if it was my small little family, and really trust and learn to trust that God has something better for me. And then it was a process of unfolding. Like, he brought the love of my life into my life. So then
Right.
suddenly he was there to help me through all those transitions. And I guess that was the process of letting go, shedding the old. I
Yeah.
tried. Believe me, I tried everything, and maybe it's me, and maybe if I just can be more patient, and and
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like
Been
Jesus
there.
taught,
Yeah.
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
someone hits
Turn the
you,
other
turn the other.
cheek. Yeah.
Exactly. But
Yeah.
then I also was led to, well, that's not love. No, that's enablement. That's like codependency. That's not love. And I gotta take responsibility for my own journey, and
So,
that's what I did.
Great.
so,
You
so can I
became your
ask,
own mom.
so,
sorry.
so can I ask about, you said that you have books. How many books have you written? And were they channeled, or did you just pour your whole soul out into these books?
I have written, like 2 are still in the making, so I've published 4, but I've written 6, but they're not complete yet. 2 of them are like, like self-help books, and which they were also a part of just kind of summarizing or supporting me through my own transition. So
Was
I
it
would say
like just a almost
Cathartic.
like a journal of your becoming or something, or
something like that. But I would say my other 2 books, those are like poets. What do you call it? Like poetry collections.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one is like, I mean, it's German, but it's called like Seelensplitter, which is like when the soul shatters. So it was like Soul Shatter, something like that. And the second one is called Evolve, Love, a Revolution of Love, something like that, but in German. And those 2 are like a collection of poetry. And the interesting so they are more like my really where I put everything in. And the third one is still in the making. And this was also the time, like during my spiritual awakening, when I realized, because I've always written poems, like my first poem I've written when I was 6 years old. But somewhere along the line of my spiritual journey and after my spiritual awakening, the quality of those poems changed, right? So before it was only like me and this is my pain and mine and me and Jolene, and
everything's about me.
exactly. This is my world.
And you
But it
all are
was
just living in it.
Yeah.
exactly. You're like my stats people. No, but also very healing and cathartic. But at a certain point, it just changed where suddenly I got downloads about, like spiritual awakening of the world and how they became much more like readings for the collective or readings for the awakening or like kind of prophecies or something like that. I guess you could say. So more channeled messages that didn't revolve around my personal story, but they were like suddenly for all kind of.
It's like
And that's
you had healed yourself enough so that other messages could come through you
Right.
for
exactly.
the collective. Yeah.
I guess, yeah, I guess you could say. And still to this day, if I get a download or if I get a channeled poem, I still profit from it. So it's like, oh, it's for me and for you. It's like, oh, I can see myself in it, but others look at it and they're like, wow, like they can see. So it's kind of like the more you allow yourself to be seen and see yourself, the more like others can see themselves in you and vice versa. And this is kind of like, when God gifts you new eyes to see, and also you are able to be seen through the eyes of God and of love. This is just kind of a beautiful transmutation of the old to co-create the new, where once there
Oh,
was the pain and the suffering and the personal story and the limitations, and then suddenly you can see from a new perspective and new consciousness.
And everybody does have those same experiences, maybe not exactly in the same way, but with the same feelings attached to them.
Yeah, the
I-
human, yeah, the
yeah,
human
that's it.
experience.
That's it. And I feel like when someone else is validated or connects with something that one of us has created, that just means everybody's meeting at that frequency. And the more people that show up at that frequency, the more excited I get because, so when when you're online and you have all these people that you're doing readings for, the energy, the frequency is like way up here. So yeah, you're so what's the word? Overdeveloped so early, and your eloquence and and the way that you explain things even without poetry is, beautiful. So such a beautiful soul. And I'm so glad that we
Thank
could,
you.
bring you here. Yeah, it's so neat. So what
Mhm.
are you, I mean, is there anything that you wanted to, anything you wanted to express today or talk about?
Whatever you want to talk
Whatever
about.
you
Like
want to.
I came here without an agenda, just like I'm
Oh,
excited
that's
to be here.
great.
And if there's anything
Her
you
her
wanna like,
goal is to help us go international.
Oh, is that what it is? Well,
we are already
we did
international.
it.
There
We
you go.
did it. That's right. Yeah, right. But
Europe and
wow, that's
America.
cool. Yeah. Yeah, have you ever been to America?
I haven't,
I
no,
I would
but in the
love to go to
future,
Vienna.
I'd
Yeah,
love to.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm
I
fascinated how you get people around you and you just read them one after another after another. How does that happen?
What do you mean?
Well,
Like in personal life or?
when
Virtual. I think it
Donna
was
was
virtual.
talking about how you guys can just read people
Mhm.
Well,
and
that's what I do the same thing. I guess you've never seen my Facebook. But
no, I
hers was
don't.
it's like they have a Facebook Live or Instagram Live or whatever it is. TikTok, I don't know if you can do it live. And you just let people know you're going to do readings and then they just come in. And so the way that she did it in a training that was with the modern shaman
Mhm.
Danielle Foreman. She's another beautiful soul.
Yeah.
And yeah, she's a real go-getter. Boy, is she ever. Man, if you want to learn how to sell things, she is really good at that. But she's also so loving and caring that even if you don't,
Yeah,
join
that's
with
true.
her, she's with you, she's all for us all. But anyway, it was a training and I remember you were so nervous and I just kept sending all this energy like it's okay, it's okay. I understand that empath in me, But
Yeah.
yeah, but it was like maybe 6 people there when I joined. And so she did my reading and then I just watched and she did another person's, and then people come and go for a half hour or whatever it was.
Yeah, no, I remember it was 1 hour that I was live, and I think it was about 20. It was my first live reading ever. Before I had done animals, and then I, like started with a few people one-on-one randomly. And then I did like I asked Danielle, like, I want to practice, can I go live? Because it was in her training. And she was like, yeah, someone who wants to go first. And she's like, okay, go on there. So first of all, all of them were from America or somewhere like that. I'm a little Austrian girl, like second language. And then I was on there for 1 hour and around 24 people, I guess, came in, came out. And I just did my first live reading one after another in those and like in that container. Um, and yeah, I just remember I was so high on life afterwards.
Yeah.
There was so much energy. And I afterwards I couldn't even remember like which answer I channeled for which question, but I
Mhm.
just remember like it being such a terrifying experience, but at the same time it gave me so much, and it unlocked something in my purpose, because there was just so many fears and comfort zones, like crashed in this one I don't know, like live reading. So that was really intense. Yeah, but otherwise, like in my personal life, I don't go like just to people in the street and say like one reading after the other. They're like try to protect my energy.
You don't tap on somebody in the grocery line and say, "Oh,
No,
your
no.
dad wants to say hi."
No, 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 no. I learned to
I
like
have
really
learned
have my
not
boundaries.
yeah, I've learned not to do that. People don't like that
And it
necessarily.
also drains you, right? If you just
Why?
open and have all those leaks in your aura, and then you're getting all those messages, and you don't know, like, wait, is this for them or for? Okay, it's just too much.
Yeah,
Like, you gotta
yeah,
learn to really
yeah.
protect your energy.
That's right. And when I was doing all those Facebook things, some of the readings kind of bleeded into the next.
Hmm.
And so at the time, I was saying, so am I reading me and
Hmm.
telling, so I had to stop and really ask my helpers and etc. to discern the difference. And they said that everyone was at that point. It just happened. It was just like, a synchronicity. I was like, thank you, because I don't want to
Exactly.
be misreading people.
Yes.
So yeah,
Yes. There's
yeah.
always this kind of resonance when someone comes to you one part within you or one past version of you could be just the person you're talking to, and then there's this point where you ask yourself, wait, am I just talking about myself? What is this? But then suddenly, like, you get the feedback and like, yeah, that's exactly what's going on with me. And then you just see this is resonance. Like, we all are each other's mirrors, and there's always some kind of resonance that brings us together. And
So,
if you are in the space where you read, of course you see it even more consciously than the other.
mhm.
Right. That's right.
So do you still have Facebook Lives? Is this something that you do as a rule?
I haven't done one in a while. I was thinking about trying it out on TikTok next. That's why I reached out to Dawna, because I was like, well, I would like to try again. I haven't done one in a while because I've just worked with clients. And it's easier with people you don't know, because then you know, like, you can really be in the zone without like, well, they told me that. Was I just mixing
Yeah.
something up?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I haven't done one in a while, but as I said, maybe if I am too nervous before I go live again to do those, um, or if I if this comes next, as I said, I have other priorities right now, but
Right.
maybe you could be my guinea pig.
Yeah. That would be great.
I love that.
And so how can people get in contact with you? We'll put, if you have an email address or a website or whatever, we'll
Yeah,
put it
yeah,
in the
sure.
comments.
I
Yeah.
have a homepage that's www.joyloveslife.com.
Oh,
Then my Facebook and my YouTube are also Joy Loves Life, so 3 words. And then my my Instagram and my TikTok are Jolene Schnee. Like, it's Jolene and like snow in German. Yeah.
Oh,
Funny
yeah,
story.
that's how I know you. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's a funny story, because I wanted to change it to, I made it Jolene Schnee when I was younger. So, and I didn't want my full name on there. And then I wanted to change it back to Jolene, like Snow White, Schneeweiss, to my whole name. And then Facebook was like, no, you can't do it. It must be your real name. I was like, that is my real name. So I didn't bother further. So that's why I'm
Yeah.
Jolene Schnee.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they do have their parameters, those 3D parameters we have to live with, right?
Mhm.
So, yeah. So what do you see in your future, or in the future, from, if you have had any downloads about the future of this awakening? Do you have anything, future things to talk about? I know that timelines change and
Yeah.
that, but
Well, it's so funny because the world kind of functions like an algorithm, right? The more you focus on something, the more you kind of get the feedback loop of your own focus and of your own, like, bubble of creation. It's the same online as it is like in your real life day to day. And so I know, I'd say that on the outside there's all this contrast, right? And there's all this people who are at different places and maybe are going through so much chaos and conflict and their own dark night of the soul, or maybe even the collective dark night of the soul. Yet at the same time, if you just keep focusing on your own path and not too much get lost or distracted by the outside noise and forces to try to, bring you away or bring you back into the chaos or negativity, just focus on your own internal union and also balance. That doesn't mean like suppress the shadows or something like that, but if you just embrace everything within you and focus on your own journey of self-love, self-discovery, and self-actualization, and to follow the call of your own mission or purpose that you feel a resonance with, to create the good timeline, to create the heaven on earth, to create, like the world we want to see and where we all can thrive in union. The more you focus on that, the more your reality, also online with the content you consume, but also like really, or us, we connected on Facebook. Now we're having this international call here. But also then your 3D reality, it starts to materialize. It starts to become that. So that would be my kind of prediction or advice, that don't let yourself be swayed by how it might look on the outside. And yes, it can look very dark and it can look very ugly. And if you go through your own awakening, you will be confronted with all of those shadows within and without. And, like government. And there's just so much. You will see the truths that were hidden to you before in plain sight. But don't get lost or stuck in the powerlessness, or in feeling like, oh, the world out there or something like that, in despair. But really come back and, like back into wholeness, back into the remembrance that you are God, that you are this consciousness through which you experience, and that, this is your stage, your world, and you do so much more good, or so you have so much more impact if you really like stay in your own frame and you do what you can do. You think the positive thoughts, you align your identity, you connect with source, you follow inspired action, you like lead with love and heart-centered communities in your own personal life where you can. If it's better for you to, like cut someone off who's not able to go there with you, but choose love in your own life. Choose to focus on this new reality, on this new timeline, on this new consciousness in your own life, and let it transform from the inside out.
Oh, wow.
That's
That's so
beautiful.
beautiful. Oh my God.
Beautiful.
Wow. That is so nice. Oh, and when you were talking about when you first read Osho, that connection, I feel that you voice how I feel in much better
Oh.
words than I can use. When you say things like that, it's like, yeah, that's me. I feel that way too. That's so cool. So, and I mean, everyone that I know, pretty much the people that are in my life are of love and light. Or at least they understand, and that they call me woo woo or whatever, but they still love me, and I know that I'm wearing off on them, so that's a
Yeah.
good thing.
Yeah.
So,
And
yeah.
we all function as mirrors, right? So
Right.
just what you were saying towards me, first of all, thank you. But
Mhm.
we all know that feeling, like if somebody sings in a song or there's something written or a book, and you're just like, wow, yes, yes, they voice something within me. And so it's not about who can voice it better or who, but if we all just share our own authentic expression, and that which moves us, and that which, like we can transmute darkness into art, or into pain into beauty, and then we can just all send out this ripple effect where we like help each other to find our light, to find our voice, to find our truth. And as Vicki was saying before, like, the human experience, in the end we're all so similar, because we all want that love, we all want that, or most of us, I guess, the God within us wants love, wants community, wants connection, wants to share beauty and express, and to have it be healing and uplifting for all. So the more we can just allow ourselves, wherever we are, to express authentically and follow our own guidance and nudges and curiosity over our fear, over our limitations, over doubt and worries, and like all those things that weigh us down, we liberate each other, we liberate ourselves, and we empower ourselves. And then just through the act of being who we are, we touch the next one and the next one and the next one and the next one. So we can all be a voice for that which we want to hear in the world, and we can all be an example of that which we want to see in the world. And so the further it goes, the further it goes. And there will
Oh,
always
beautiful.
be the contrast, but that's maybe I want to conclude with that, because through this transformation from the inside out, and their own healing, and just focusing on the self and loving the self and transforming from the inside out, and allowing God and the divine to work through us and to shape us and to crack us open and to help us to tap into our potential, the more the world will shift, and your physical immediate reality will start to mold itself to reflect the new image that is being projected. And then it is suddenly the folk, like in my life, if I have people in my life who say, yeah, they're awakening, like I can't talk with anybody about it, and people think I'm crazy, and I realize, well, everywhere I see, like there's another one who's awakening. There's another one who's like, so that's the focus was on that. We keep focused, laser focused on the vision, and it will come. It will come.
Oh,
That
beautiful.
is something I've noticed is, I watch a lot of YouTube, and there's been so many new people just popping up. People go online, they feel a need, a pull to express themselves and to be seen. And it's just, I think it's beautiful that people are not afraid anymore to express
Right.
who they are.
That's right. That's it.
Exactly.
Wow. So,
Yeah.
oh, thank you so much for bringing all this wonderful high frequency energy. It's beautiful. So, yeah, I can't wait to put this one on YouTube.
And
I'm
we'll,
excited too.
yeah, we'll post your link in the description. Dawna
Yes.
will, because she's, great.
I'm the techie. Oh, well, thank you. Well, you could do it too. You just,
I'm not going to, because I don't know how and I don't want to.
But that's
That's
another
how
thing
we,
about about beautiful co-creation, right? Everybody
Mhm.
gets to do what they want to do, what they're like inspired to do. And instead of like, you have to do it all. No, we can all come together and really co-create in a way that's authentic, that's beautiful, that's life-giving.
I was just
Yes.
lucky to have met Dawna at the time of my life that I wanted to talk.
Oh,
And
that's so
she,
beautiful. Yeah. And she was listening.
and she listened and said, "Oh,
How did you meet?
I've got this thing. I've got this thing that I do." It's like, oh, wow, cool. Let's do something together.
Well, yeah,
Yes.
we met at a kind of a retreat through Ann Tucker. I don't know if you know of her.
Mhm.
She's on YouTube.
Mhm.
And we met there and we talked, and then there was a luncheon that we went to later, and it's like a group of us from Arizona get together.
Mhm.
And so we talked at that lunch, and then she said, I don't know, somebody mentioned let's have our own retreat, and that never really materialized.
Mhm.
So Vicki said, well, I want to come down and talk to you. And I think, yeah, it was Vicki. She said she wanted to do something in Tucson. So she's in Mesa, which is 2 hours away. Okay. So she
Okay.
drove here. And I posted that we were going to do this, and a couple other people came. It turned out really nice, but we brought all these things we were going to do, all these modalities, and like she dragged her what do you call it? Bed, portable.
I
We'll
dragged
talk about that.
everything down.
Yeah, she brought everything and her keyboard and all this stuff, and all we did was sit and talk for 3 hours. So, yeah, but at that point, well, actually, I just thought of this the other day. She said she wanted a mentor, and I was just so honored by that. I was like, I will do, well, then it just turned into we're the
A
same.
friendship.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
just friends, and so we're like besties now. So, and
That's so
we go
nice.
back and forth. Yeah, it is great. And we talk on Messenger Live a lot too. So because we
Yeah,
still need that connection, everybody needs that connection. So,
exactly.
yeah. Well,
But
thanks for asking.
I want to thank you so much for sharing your story with us, for us, going international. I want to thank you for your time, because I know it's late for you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so sorry to keep you up late.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It was excited. It was exciting, and I enjoyed the co-creation a lot.
Well,
Ah,
thank
thank
you so
you.
much.
All right. So you take care, and I know we'll be in touch
Yes.
eventually for something.
For
And
something.
something, yeah.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so, and thank
Love
you
it.
everyone for watching. We're so glad that you stayed with us through this, and it was so exciting. I feel it was one of our high frequency connections. And if you like and subscribe, and
Oh yeah, that too.
that, yeah.
Yeah, that.
And thank you all so much for joining. It's your time, and so it's your time
It's
for.
your time.
It's your time. Okay, it's our time. Everybody's time. That's right.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Well, thank you
Bye.
guys.
Bye.
We
Thank
will
you.
see you
Bye.
again. Bye.